It should come as no surprise to my friends and viewers that trading card games have always had a very special place in my heart. In this series, both Raikourider and myself will be opening 24 packs or one box of a core Yu-Gi-Oh set. Every week we will add an additional core set to our collections, moving in chronological order. We will use these cards to create a deck and then face off against one another in a best 2 out of 3 match, with the winner receiving 2 prizes to upgrade their deck, while the loser receives 1. These prizes can range from wildcards, to sealed product, to starter decks, and more. Every card that has been released will be available to us at least once. However, we cannot rest on our laurels. Between the ever-evolving nature of the Forbidden and Limited list, the cards that we ourselves choose to banish into the Shadow Realm, and even the way the very rules of the game will change, will keep our decks and our duels fresh. This is yet another Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression series. Okay, so unfortunately for us, Fandom Darkness did not work out quite as we had hoped. However, we still have a few good cards out of it, and honestly, we just need to go on to the next set. This is Light of Destruction. This set came out in May of 2008, and this set is actually notable for introducing 2 very well-known archetypes into the game. The first are the Arcana Force monsters. Anyone who has seen Yu-Gi-Oh! GX may remember this from the big baddie in Season 2, Sartorius. The entire gimmick to these cards is that they flip a coin whenever they are summoned, and usually their heads effect is a good effect for you, and the tails effect is a bad effect for you. However, Arcana Force Zero the Fool here is actually one of the better Arcana Force monsters because it actually does not need to use its effects. And it does have the effect of not being destroyed in battle. Fun fact, this is a card we're going to want to pay attention to. The other notable archetype, however, are the Light Sworns. These are a series of monsters that typically have the effect of milling cards from the top of your deck at the end of your turn, or having effects that kick off if they get milled because of a card effect. So Jane Lightsworn Paladin here, for example, is a good one that mills 2 at the end of your turn, and gets to be 2100 attack points when attacking a monster. This is also a card we're going to want to pay attention to. Let's scroll through some of the comments real quick, get a good idea of what we're looking at. Most of the Arcanas are not going to be anything we want to really see. Like I said, the Fool is probably like the only good one we want to see, and that's because it can't be destroyed in battle. Unfortunately, it does have 0 attack and defense points. However, depending on what we decide to run with, that could actually come in handy for us because we could potentially combine this with something like Spirit Barrier or Sanctuary in the Sky, and essentially make it to where even if Rai has something with piercing, he can't hit us for damage. Volcanic Queen is actually an interesting monster. This basically is a precursor to Kaijus. You can summon this to your opponent's side of the field by tributing one of their monsters, and once per turn, you either send a card you control you could send a card you control to your opponent's to your graveyard to deal 1,000 damage to your opponent. So effectively, this would be something Rai could do. However, at the end phase, either one other monster has to be sacrificed, or you take 1,000 damage. So basically, this is going to be kind of like Lava Golem in a sense, in that we could send off one of Rai's monsters to let him have this, and then during each of his end phases, he either has to sack another monster, or he takes 1,000 points of damage, which is a good little burn. The problem is, it is a 2,500 attack monster, so we might have trouble there. Scrolling down a little more, Jane, as I said, is a good card we definitely want to see, and Garroth and Graganith are good Light Sworns as well. The only issue with the Light Sworns is that a lot of their cards are going to be high rarity, so getting a playset of them Getting a playset of the commons shouldn't be that hard, but getting any of the key cards for the deck will be a lot tougher. We have a few more Battery Man cards, which actually is starting to let the deck be a little more consistent and usable, which is nice. Scrolling down a bit more, we have a few other cards that really don't do a whole lot here. Again, they have cards like Short Circuit, that's actually pretty good for Battery Men. If you control 3 or more Battery Man monsters, you can destroy every card your opponent controls. This is actually a really strong card, and honestly, if we pull enough Battery Man support, we might consider this. And then scrolling down, we don't see a whole lot here that's actually all that important. Summon Limit might actually be something to pay attention to for later. As long as it's on the field, neither player can summon more than twice in a turn. And we have to be mindful of that because there are ways to shut this out to where we can't summon a bunch of monsters, especially later down the road. Because later down the road, we're going to be hitting archetypes that focus heavily on spamming monsters. Scrolling up into the rares, we actually see a couple that are kind of important. Lumina Lightsworn Summoner is actually a good one. It lets us discard a card to target a level 4 or lower Lightsworn in our grave and special summon it. Nice thing is we can actually discard a Lightsworn in order to summon that Lightsworn. And at the end of the turn, we mill 3 cards. Substitute is actually one we really want to see, and I actually missed out on this in the offline progression series we had done. You could tribute a monster to summon 1 frog monster from your deck, besides Frog the Jam, and frog monsters can't be destroyed in battle. That doesn't really matter as much. The big thing here is you could use this card multiple times in a turn, so you could basically just cycle through all of your frogs in your deck and combine this with a few cards later down the road, and this creates a very, very powerful combo. Glorious Illusion is actually a really good one as well. This is basically Call of the Haunted for Lightsworns, and then during each of your end phases, you get to mill 2 cards as well. So that's actually a really good card, and honestly, if we actually pull enough Lightsworn cards, this will be something we definitely want to see. As for the rares, this is pretty much the rest of it. Scrolling into the super rares, here we actually see a couple of really important cards we need to see. Raiko Lightsworn Hunter is actually one of the best Lightsworns. You could flip this card and you destroy a card on the field and mill 3 cards at the same time. Really good effect. And a good light monster for Chaos. But the big one we want to see is right here. Gladiator Beast Geyserus. It requires Gladiator Beast Bestiari and another Gladiator Beast. You contact fuse them out, and when it's summoned, you could pop 2 cards on the field. And then it has the effect of bouncing itself back to your deck to summon 2 more Glads, which is a pretty good effect because it also helps it to survive a little bit longer. If we could pull this, then this makes the Gladiator Beast deck a really viable option for us. Scrolling down into the ultra rares, Lila and Celestia are the 2 big Lightsworns we want to see, because if we could see these, then the deck actually has some good potential. Solar Recharge is also a really good support card for Lightsworns. You discard 1 to draw 2, and then you discard 2 cards from your deck. And then finally we scroll down, or up rather, into the secret rares. And right here we see 2 that are we actually see 3 that are really good. The first is Fossil Dyna Pachyathlon. When it's flipped up, you destroy all special summon monsters on the field, and as long as it's on the field, neither player can special summon. It's a good little card to help deal with special summon heavy decks. Then we see Judgment Dragon, which is also a big card, and this is actually really important for Lightsworns. Basically, you have a once per turn, pay 1,000 life points, pop everything on the field except itself, and all you have to do is have 4 more Lightsworns in the graveyard. So that's pretty nice. And then finally, we have one of the best cards in the game, Honest. During the main phase, you can bounce this card back to your hand, and during the damage step, if a light monster you control battles, you could pitch this card from your hand to let your monster gain the attack of the monster that it's battling. So this is actually one of my favorite cards of all time. And fun fact, as a kid, I actually pulled a Ghost Rare Honest, and unfortunately for me, it ended up creased almost immediately after I pulled it. So it ended up losing a lot of its value, and I ended up trading it away for a lot of cards in high school. And even to this day, I'm thinking back to it and wishing I had managed to keep that card in good condition, because this thing would have been worth a lot, especially because it was first edition. But it... So, now that we've mentioned the key cards, we have to discuss the ban lists. And I say lists with an S because we actually had 2 come out since the last release. The first was the March 2008 list, and this was actually the big list. This is the list that ended up making Breaker the Magical Warrior, Magician of Faith, and Call of the Haunted all banned again. For us, these actually don't change anything because these were all limited anyway. But the big ones here are going to be Advanced Ritual Art goes to 1, Ojama Trio goes to 1, Cyber Dragon goes down to 2, Book of Moon actually goes back up to 2, which is actually going to be kind of important for us. And then we have cards like Green Gadget, Red Gadget, Yellow Gadget, Pot of Avarice, Reckless Greed, and Creature Swap. All of these go back to 3. For the most part, these actually don't impact us, but they do leave an impact for later down the road, and potentially make a difference for us. Pot of Avarice especially, if we pull another one later. And then we have the 2008 May list, which basically only changed one thing for us, realistically, and that was taking Allure of Darkness to 2, which granted we don't have that, but it does make it harder if we end up pulling more of these later. But with that being said, I think it's time for us to get into the packs and see what we can hit. Alright, 24 packs of Light of Destruction. Key cards we want to see. We want to see at least 1 Substitoad, we want to see a couple of Raikou, and we definitely want to see at least 1 Geyserus. If we could hit those, then that would be amazing. Now granted, they are all higher rarity except for the Substitoad, which is a rare, so I'm not hoping out too much, but it would be nice if we could see any of that. So let's flip the first pack, and honestly, not really too much here to pay too much attention to. Rainbow Gravity actually might not be a bad card. If we have 7 Crystal Beasts with different names on the field or in the graveyard, we can actually summon Rainbow Dragon or Rainbow Dark Dragon from our deck, ignoring their conditions. Which is actually kind of nice, because this not only lets us get out the Rainbow Dragons that we have fairly quickly, but it also allows us to retrieve it from the graveyard as well, which is really big. And we could even toss Rainbow Dark Dragon in here for an extra kick if we really want to. So that's actually not a horrible card. As for the rest though, it's kind of meh. So, what can you do? Okay, so second pack in, we get our first super rare, and unfortunately it's Vanquishing Light. So, the problem with this card is, it is a Lightsworn card, but it only has the effect that when a monster would be summoned, you could tribute a Lightsworn to negate that summon and destroy the monster. It's not the worst card in the world, admittedly, but at the same time, it could be a lot better. And honestly, given the fact that we're looking for supers like Raikou and Geyserus, that's a little bit lackluster. That being said, though, second Rainbow Gravity and a Gragonith, so that's kind of nice to see. Okay, so that's another Arcana Force Zero the Full. I think this is our second one, which is good. We see a Gyarados, which is actually not a bad monster. It's an 1850 level 4 light, which is pretty good. And it has the effect that every time a card is sent from your deck to the grave by the effect of a Lightsworn, you can mill 2 and then draw a card for each Lightsworn milled by this effect. Unfortunately, it's not very likely to pull off, but it can be something to pay attention to. Excuse me. Unfortunately, the rest of this pack is kind of meh. So we're going to go ahead and see what the next pack is. Hopefully we hit something else. Ah, god damn it. Another super rare, Helios Trismegistus. Okay, let's go on a quick rant here. I hate this card with a passion, because, first off, yes, you can special summon it by sending a duo Magistus to the graveyard. That's whatever. But here's the issue with this card. if this card, it has the effect that if it's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you special summon it during the end phase, and it gains 500 attack and defense. Cool. Here's the problem. Its attack and defense is also equal to the number of banished monsters times 300. The entire point of this card is that you're supposed to summon it using Macrocosmos and then leveling up the Helios. Now, here's the problem with that, though. If the deck is working right and you are doing what you're supposed to be doing, you will never have this card's effect activate, because it will never go to the graveyard. Konami really fucked up with this card, seriously. Looking at the rest of the pack, though, it's just as much garbage. Unifrog might be kind of decent, but that's about it, and even then it's kind of weak, so... what a pain. Oh, okay, so here's a good pack. Our third Garroth is here, which is nice, and we have our first Jane Lightsworn Paladin. We really want to see 2 more of this if we can, because this will make a really good attacker on its own. Unfortunately, the rest of the pack, aside from those 2 cards, aren't really good. Are you fucking kidding me? Another super rare, Jinzo Lord. God damn it. This is actually a really bad card, not even just because of the fact that we aren't even able to use this card because Jinzo is banned, but it requires sending Jinzo to the graveyard. And then its effect is you could destroy all face-up trap cards once per turn, and deal 300 damage to your opponent for each card destroyed. The problem is, destroying the cards is kind of pointless, and in fact it's actually kind of a negative effect, because then it opens up those spell slots for your opponent to work with. This is just an absolute garbage super rare. And the fact that we hit another super rare that we can't actually really work with is depressing. Another Dragoneth, though, so that's kind of nice. And Golden Bamboo Sword is actually something to pay attention to. If we control a Bamboo Sword equip spell, we get to draw 2 cards. This is actually the card that makes a lot of Exodia decks function, because you could equip Broken Bamboo Sword to something, drop 3 Golden Bamboo Swords, and get basically draw 6 cards. So if we could pull a playset of that, that'll be fun to try. You have got to be fucking kidding me. A second Helios Trismegistus. So that's our 4th super rare. And we can't make use of it. God damn. This set is gonna fuck me up. This set is gonna make me so mad. Alright, there's our playset of Dragoneth, and there's a second Jane, so at least we have that going for us, but... God damn, this set's gonna make me mad. Bro, are you serious? Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem as our ultra rare? We can't even summon this thing! We don't have an Ancient Gear Golem! God, aw, man! Like, I mean, it's a cool card, but... we're never going to be able to use this thing. I mean, and there really isn't anything else in here that's all that amazing, to be honest. I mean, like, seriously, we've had some impressive pull luck, but, oh, there's our third Jane, that's nice. But seriously, like, if this were a box opening, this would be pretty cool. But for what we're looking for, this has been depressing for us. Okay, so there's our copy of Substitute. Thank God we at least hit that. And our third Golden Bamboo Sword, so that's good. That means we can actually round that out, which is pretty nice. I don't remember how many Broken Bamboo Swords we have, but at the very least we could make that something to work with. But man, we're 2/3 of the way through this box, and I'm really getting distressed here. I think that's our first summon limit. And Gladiator Lash, what does this card do again? If you special summon a Gladiator Beast, your opponent discards a card of their choice. Ooh, that's actually not the worst card, but in a Gladiator Beast deck, I feel like that's still not the best thing to have to deal with. God, this is getting tough. Wow, an ultimate rare Arcana Force 21, the World. This is actually an interesting card, because when it's summoned, you get to pick you get to flip a coin. If heads, during your end phase, you can send 2 monsters you control to the grave and skip your opponent's next turn fully. Or tails, during your opponent's draw phase, they get to add the top card of their graveyard to their hand. This is, I mean, it's definitely a risk card for sure, but that's actually a pretty strong monster overall. That being said, I don't know if it's worth the hassle. God, this is getting rough. Like, seriously, we have 3 packs left, and we have not hit any Raikou. We have not hit any Geyserus. Like, we're really running low on everything important. Like, we're still missing probably half of what we need for the Light Sworn Core. Flip up the next pack. Yeah, we see absolutely nothing here that we already don't have, that we don't already have. And at this point, it's actually impossible for us to get everything we need for any of the cores, so that's irritating. Yeah, we can't actually get everything we need now. That's frustrating. Next pack. Are you fucking kidding me? We hit another holo, but Dangerous Machine Type 6. I forgot this was a fucking ultra rare. So during each of your standby phases, you have to roll a 6-sided die and apply the effect. If you roll a 1, you discard a card from your hand. If you roll a 2, your opponent discards 1 card. You roll a 3, you draw a card. Roll a 4, your opponent draws a card. Roll a 5, you destroy a monster your opponent controls, and you hit 6, you pop this card with no benefit. This card is basically one of the biggest gimmicky cards for rolls or for gambling, and quite frankly, it sucks. The saddest part is the fact that we honestly may end up at a point where we have to. Maybe this honestly wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for Dark Worlds, but it still sucks nonetheless. And the fact that we lost another holo for that is even more depressing. Alright, we're on our last pack. Please, please, let us see either Geyserus, Raikou, or hell, let us see a Lumina, if nothing else. Like, at least let us have that. Flip, and fucking nothing. Even this sucks. Like, this was a set that was supposed to be all the big stuff for us and really help us out, and this ended up becoming one hell of a bust. Like, I think realistically the only thing in here that we got that is like amazing for us are the Rainbow Gravities, and that's about it. And that and the 3 Jane. The fact that we actually got 3 Jane is pretty nice, but really this set wound up being a hell of a disappointment for us, which is not good. But in any case, we're going to go into the deck build, see what we could come up with, and see if there's anything we could do differently here, because we need to try to snap this losing streak. Alright, and here we are for today's duel, the deck list we're going to work with, and yep, we're going back to Heroes. The reason we're going back to Heroes is because, honestly, we didn't pull enough of a Light Sworn Core to really work with. We didn't really pull enough to kind of bank on improving with the Dark deck, or the Chaos build. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to focus on Heroes and see what we could come up with. Actually, I just thought about it. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that, just in the off chance. So, you know what? I think we could do that. There we go. Okay, so let's go through the card by card now. We have one Cyber Jar. This card is actually going to be very helpful for us if we could get it to go, because this will allow us to summon out a lot of our heroes. Basically, this will let us summon out any monster we flip, with the exception of our Ryza. And given the fact that this is our last chance to actually use Contact Fusion outside of normal monsters that use Contact Fusion, we're going to try to take advantage of this. We have 2 copies of Elemental Hero Bubble Man. Normally I would not play this card, however, with the chance of being able to go Contact Fusion back into other monsters, as well as the fact that we're going to have times where we don't have anything in our hand, we can take that as an opportunity to special summon this card. And if worst comes to worst and we end up with nothing else on our field anyway, we could always just use this to draw 2 cards at that point. 3 copies of Wild Heart because traps are still a problem, and Wild Heart's a good way to clear those. 2 copies of King of the Swamp in case we need an outside option in terms of having an extra material. 1 Magician of Faith, unfortunately back down to 1, so that's kind of disappointing. 1 copy of Rise of the Storm Monarch, our Sangan, our Witch. Between these two, it will search up pretty much everything in here, so that's a pretty good thing for us. 2 copies of Elemental Hero Avion, 3 copies of Clayman, and 3 copies of Sparkman. For our spells, we have 2 Book of Moon, 3 Emergency Call. Since we don't have Rhoda, this is going to be our best bet beyond that. 1 Future Fusion. The reason I'm going to play this card is because I'm expecting to be able to play this, dump what we need for something like, say, Electrum, and then we could go into other options beyond that. So, for example, we could do that to dump Electrum, and then we could say Miracle Fusion into, say, Tempest, or into Electrum itself. 1 Graceful Charity, 2 H Heated Heart, 1 Heavy Storm, 2 Miracle Fusion. Miracle Fusion plus Future Fusion basically equals to pretty much anything here, so that's important. 1 Pot of Greed, 1 Skyscraper, and 1 Sword to Revealing Light. For our traps, 2 Hero Signal. This will help us get extra monsters on the field if ours get destroyed in battle. If nothing else, this will give us an extra meat shield. Then we have our Magic Cylinder and 2 Sakuretsu Armor. Extra deck, we have 1 copy of Electrum. We may not use this, we might, who knows. 2 copies of Mariner. If we could pull this out and then have a card face down that in our spell zone, this can hit directly, so that's kind of nice. Necroid Shaman, we have 2 copies of. This will let us potentially manipulate something on Rise Field. We have 1 copy of Elemental Hero Plasma Vice. This is actually not a bad card, and honestly, this, for a card that was a pickup, like a standard promo card, this is actually not a really bad card. It has the effect of dealing piercing damage on a defense monster, and we could discard a card to destroy a monster the opponent controls in attack mode. All in all, pretty good effect. 2 Rampart Blaster in case we need some extra defense. 1 copy of Shining Phoenix Enforcer. Honestly, I really wish this were Shining Flare Wingman right now, but oh well. 1 copy of Steam Healer, probably not going to use this. 1 copy of Tempest. 1 copy of Thunder Giant, 1 copy of Wild Wingman, 1 copy of Wild Edge, and we have Thousand Eyes Restrict. We're never going to summon that, unfortunately. And then for our side, we're going to go a bit more into general stuff. We have our Cypher Soldier here, still known as Kinetic Soldier, in case he's on a warrior build as well. 2 copies of Cyber Dragon for extra summons. 1 copy of Evil Hero Malicious Edge. This is a good monster that can get out pretty easily and has 2600 attack and piercing. 1 Exile Force, and 1 Mobius the Frost Monarch. 1 Dark Hole, 1 Enemy Controller, Giant Trunade. We have 2 Polymerization in the side deck. The reason is because even though we have access to Contact Fusion is going to require us actually having the monsters out on the field. Polymerization, on the meanwhile, can get us the fusions if we have the monsters in our hand. And given the fact that we're going to have King of the Swamp in our deck anyway, that can potentially give us an easy out if we need it. And then 1 copy of Super Polymerization. This is actually here specifically in case Rai is on heroes as well, because we could flip this card, pitch a card, and then basically summon out a monster, one of our heroes, using his materials as well. And the best part is, if he has multiple heroes on the field, we could actually flip Super Polymerization. If he summons 2 monsters on his field that we know can go into a fusion, we can actually flip this up upon resolution of the summon, discard a card, he can't respond to it, and get a monster. So we not only get a fusion monster, but we could potentially take up to 2 or more of his monsters away. And then we also have 2 Negate Attack and our Ring of Destruction. Ring of Destruction is basically a oh hell no button, so we're gonna see what we can do there. But this is what we got, so ladies and gentlemen, let's hope for the best. This is our graduation match, and we are hoping to take this win. So it is time to duel, and for the last time, it's time to get your game on. So, how does it feel to be a graduate?
No kidding. It seems like we just entered Duel Academy not too long ago. What a quick 3 years has been. Both of us in Obelisk Blue, and now it's our graduation match with a set that has impacted our format substantially. There are so many good cards across the rarity spectrum in the set. I'm kind of nervous, not gonna lie.
Oh, trust me, I feel the same way. But let's see who could take the final W of Duel Academy. Well, I
Oh,
ain't
that's a
getting
good
that one.
start.
I ain't getting
That's a good
that one at
start.
least.
I will take the play. Good luck, duelists.
All right.
Draw for turn. Stand by main. That's a good start. I'm gonna fire Pot of Greed.
Ooh, that is a good start. All right.
I'm gonna fire emergency call.
Ooh, all right. Going on the heroes.
I am going to get myself a copy of Elemental Hero Neos Alias.
Oh, you pulled one. Interesting.
Then I am going to also activate Rhoda.
Gross. Okay.
I'm going to grab myself an... what do I want? I think I'm just going to get Exiled Force.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Then I'm going to run out a 1900 guy.
All right.
Then I will set one and pass my turn.
All right. Draw. Standby. Main. Ooh, okay. So, Rai.
Alright, let's see it.
How does it feel knowing we're about to have a fucking mirror?
Well, it's not like it's unexpected.
Yeah, admittedly, it's not all that surprising. I mean, think about it. This is the last chance we have for contact fusion outside of specific monsters, and honestly, it's GX. How are we not gonna have heroes?
Exactly.
Alright, I think I'm going to add a copy of Elemental Hero Clayman to my hand.
I mean, that'll stop Alias.
I'm gonna run out a copy of Wildheart.
Sure.
And I'm gonna run out I'm gonna add a copy of H Heated Heart.
You got it. I mean, that outs the Alias.
Yep. So let's beat over the big shiny boy.
Take 100, Alias down.
And I'll pass.
Draw for turn. Stand by main. Thinking. I'm going to activate Future Fusion.
Ooh, okay.
I will show you, and this will give away what I'm doing. I'm going to show you Super Alloy Beast Raptinus.
Oh! Oh! Wait a second. Geminis. Okay, that is not what I was expecting at all. Oh, hell no. You're playing Gigaplan OTK?
Then I'm going to set a monster, and I will pass the turn.
Ah, hell. Okay. Draw, standby, main. Oh, God. What do I want to do? Let's see. God, do I really want to do that, though? Yeah, I kind of feel like I have to. I'm going to activate another E-emergency call.
You got it.
Let's add a copy of Elemental Hero Avion to my hand.
So you thought I was on Hero. Joke's on you, buddy.
Yep. Well, if your trap card, if your face down is something bad, then I'm screwed, but I'm going to shuffle these back.
What What are we making?
Bringing out a copy of Elemental Hero Wild Wingman.
That is a Wild Wingman.
And
Yeah, that's gonna pop. No, that's good. That's gonna pop Future Fusion, unfortunately.
So I'm gonna pitch my other copy of Wildheart and pop the Future Fusion.
Oh, you're gonna pop the other one too?
I'm thinking about it, honestly. As much as I don't like the idea of it, I feel like I have to for safety.
It's my limit reverse.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay. Battle phase. Let's see what you got.
It is my Future Samurai.
Future Samurai. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
It's the only Warrior Gemini. It's the only Warrior Gemini that we have access to right now.
Huh.
Other than, of course, Neos Alias.
Right.
Draw for turn, standby, main. I am in a normal summon Exiled Force, and with priority, I am in a pop.
Okay.
Then I'm going to set a back row and activate Messenger of Peace and pass the turn.
Oh, God. Okay. Draw. Standby main. Well, Messenger of Peace can't stop the witch.
No, it cannot.
In for
11
11. And pass the turn.
Draw for turn. Standby, I will pay for Messenger of Peace. Not that many life points. Main. Set a back row. Go ahead.
Alright. Draw. Standby main. I guess I'll just go in for another 11.
I do have the Gravity Bind also.
Of course you do. Okay. Main 2, I'll just end.
Draw for turn, standby, I will pay for Messenger of Peace. Main, I will set one and pass the turn.
Alright. Standby main. Do I even have any outs to this effectively? Not really. God, do I really want to do that? Yeah, I might as well. I'm gonna run out King of the Swamp. And
I mean, that...
I guess I'll flash his forehead light into your eyes.
Sure, I take 500 points damage.
And I'll switch the witch to defense.
Draw for turn, standby, I will pay for Messenger. Main. I will pass the turn.
Alright. Alright, draw. Standby main. Ooh, there's a good card. Alright, so I'm going to sacrifice my witch to run out Ryza the Storm Monarch.
That's really good.
And let's go ahead and hit your Gravity Bind back to the top of the deck.
Sure, that will go on top of the deck.
I may not be able to hit. My reasoning is because, yeah, I can attack still with Ryza, but this is still going to bleed you another 100 points, so...
It will. Alright, I'll draw the Gravity Bind, standby, pay for Messenger. Main, I will set a card, could be anything,
Could be anything.
and I will pass the turn.
Draw. Ow, ow. Standby, main. This King of the Swamp has probably done more damage than any other monster has ever done in its history.
It's getting the work done.
I'm going to summon out an Elemental Hero Avion.
That's ugly.
Let's go ahead and speed this clock up a little bit.
15. Draw for turn. Stand by thinking.
Okay.
Main. Then I'll pass.
Alright. Draw. Standby. Main. Oh, if only you were level 3. Oh well. Battle phase.
I'll take it all.
Main phase 2, I will set a monster, and I will pass.
Draw for turn. Standby. Do I want to pay for it one more time?
I'm actually kind of surprised you haven't pulled a monster yet to guard you.
I'm going to let it go.
Okay.
Main. I'm going to set a monster and pass.
Alright. Draw. Standby, main. That's not what I wanted to see. Well, actually, wait. Let me think here. Ooh, that could be a thing. The question is, does it actually help any? The problem is, if I do that, it's not gonna give me as much to work with, but I need to, if nothing else, I need to make sure I could clear out that monster, whatever it is. Okay. I'm gonna run out an Elemental Hero Wildheart.
Sure.
I'm going to spin the King of the Swamp and Wildheart back to my deck.
Is this another Wild Wingman?
For Elemental Hero Necroid Shaman.
Oh, that's bad. That's really bad.
So I will, with Prio, I will activate its effect to target your face down monster.
You got my Crystal Seer. I'm sure you want to summon that back.
Yeah.
That goes to my field, not yours.
Right. That actually works out better for me, because I was actually going to have to summon back your Reflect Slime. But, Avion in.
Sure. 900 in. And then I do have the Gravity Bind.
Alright.
Draw. Stand by main.
It's times like this where I really wish I had Righteous Justice available to me.
Boy, no kidding. This is a thinker. I'm gonna be a while this time.
Alright, let's see what you got.
Okay, I think I win. I'm gonna activate Limit Reverse, targeting my Magical Reflect Slime.
Okay, wait. Okay.
I'm gonna proceed to battle phase. I'm going to attack into your Avian. I will take 300.
What the hell are you doing?
Main phase 2, I'm gonna activate Last Will.
Okay.
I'm gonna search for Lone Fire Blossom. This was the thing I was missing. I'm gonna tribute Lone Fire Blossom for Gigaplant. I'm going to normal summon Future Samurai. I'm going to Swing of Memories for the magical reflect slime that I just destroyed. I'm gonna tag out. Or not tag out, but I'm gonna contact out.
Okay. What the hell are you...
Not to hand. for Super Alloy Beast trapped in this.
Okay.
So all monsters are treated as Gemini monsters and gain their effects. So I'm going to activate the effect of Gigaplant, and I'm going to target the Gigaplant that's in my graveyard.
Okay.
I'm going to activate Mass Driver.
Oh, fuck.
So for those of you viewers that don't understand how this works, what I'm going to do is the Gigaplant that's already used its effect, I'm going to tribute that Gigaplant to do 400 damage to my opponent. Then I'm going to use the effect of the Gigaplant that was just summoned to be able to special summon the second Gigaplant. And then this Gigaplant hasn't used its effect yet because this is not a hard once per turn, this is a soft once per turn, so then I contribute this Gigaplant that already used its effect to deal you 400 points of damage. Then the second Gigaplant will revive the first one, and then I will repeat this until Demon is out of life points.
Unfucking believable.
I just didn't have a way to get to Lone Fire. If I had a way to get to Lone Fire, I could have killed you on probably turn 2. So this deck is the reason why Mass Driver got limited, and then the next deck that abused this card got it banned.
You know, the fucked up part is, as soon as I saw the Gemini, I was like, oh, you're playing Gigaplant OTK? Wow. And it fucking hit me too late. I was like, wait, he's playing the OTK. Shit. God, that sucks. Okay.
Pretty good.
Alright, draw. Stand by main.
It just took me so long to get a way to get Lone Fire. I play so many ways to get to Lone Fire, and I just couldn't draw one.
Alright. Alright, well, I get to start with this since you started with yours.
Seems okay.
Oh, fuck yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Oh, what side deck card did you get?
Alright. I'm gonna start by setting one card, setting a monster, and passing the turn.
Draw for turn. Stand by main. I am going to set 2 and pass.
Alright, draw. Stand by main. What the heck? I'm gonna set a monster, and I will pass.
Draw for turn. Stand by main. I am going to pass.
Alright, draw. Stand by main. Alright, I'm gonna start by flip summoning Magician of Faith to get Pot of Greed back.
Yep, that's pretty good.
Alright, and let's fire it off.
You got it.
Okay. Let's see. I'm going... And I think I'll activate Graceful Charity as well.
Yup. You know that card's days are numbered.
Oh, I know. I know that. Let's send a Bubble Man. I don't think I'm going to have an empty field in hand anytime soon.
I don't think so.
And a Spark Man.
Sure.
Then, here's a fun card, buddy.
Alright. What do I have?
I'm going to flip summon Cyberjar!
Main phase Cyberjar, you got it.
Ooh. Alright.
So I'll put this... Well, I have Mass Driver. I have Swing. And then the monsters are Magical Reflex Slime, Crystal Seer, and a Cyber Jar of my own.
Alright. So,
So,
that didn't work out entirely as I had hoped, but it doesn't matter as much when I have Swords of Revealing Light.
yup. So, I'm going to... Okay, so I think I'm going to make Cyber Jar Chainlink 1 and Crystal Seer Chainlink 2.
Alright. Ooh, those are pretty good.
I'll take the Call of the Haunted. And then all the things will explode.
Ooh, Disc Commander.
Yeah, Disc Commander is pretty good.
And a Lone Fire. Okay.
So I'll put this Limit Reverse in my hand. I'll put this Level Limit in my hand. And then it's Alias, Disc Commander, and Lone Fire. I think I'm actually going to just normal the... Or not normal, but special summon and face-up attack the Alias.
Alright. Let's see.
Well, there's one that's really good for you to kill, and one that's really bad for you to kill.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see what else we can do with this. I have not normal summoned this turn.
Correct, you have not normaled.
Let's see. What all can I do here? Okay. This is actually a slight problem for me. I have a lot of options. I almost have choice paralysis at this point.
I mean, you have a lot of cards in your hand.
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
I count 14.
Yep. Okay.
This is what happens when multiple Cyber Jars go off, and probably why the card is still banned.
Yep. Okay, so you have Disc Commander, Lone Fire. Okay, so first things first. I'm gonna activate E-Emergency Call.
You got it.
Let's get ourselves another Wild Heart. I will run out said Wild Heart.
I mean, you can clean them both up now.
Yeah, especially because I have H-Heated Heart for one,
So that's 2k.
and H-Heated Heart for the other.
Yeah, you can do some cleanup on aisle 5 here.
So 2k into this one,
Alright, that was the Disc Commander. I'll take 17.
and 2k into your Lone Fire.
I'll take 6.
Main phase 2. I'm going to set. I'm gonna set 2. Nah, I'll set 3. Go to end phase, and I will pitch this Avion and this Sparkman to hand size.
Draw for turn. Stand by main. I'm going to activate Polymerization.
Okay.
Polymerization good?
Polymerization's good.
All right, I'm gonna make Raptinus.
Yeah, about that. Fuck that thing.
Nah.
Oh. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess that still serves my purpose for the most part, but...
Yeah, it does get rid of the interruption. Then I'm going to activate Last Will.
On chain, I'm going to book your Raptinus.
That'll do. Yep. This will get set.
You could get your lone fire. I don't care, but I'll be damned if
The question is, do I actually want to get Lone Fire now?
Well, the funny thing is, you keep in mind, with the way Last Will is worded, you actually don't have to get it right now. You can actually choose to wait until the very end.
I'm aware. I don't have to get it now. I'm just seeing... because I haven't normaled yet either.
True. I will say, too, granted, I get that it's partially because of the fact that it's been banned forever, but I'm honestly surprised they never bothered to errata Last Will to force it to be, like, at activate or at resolution.
Yep, well, now I gotta think. Again. I am going to set 1, 2, and then activate Level Limit.
Ooh, okay.
And then I'll pass the turn.
Alright, so that's turn 1 on swords. Standby, main.
I think that Book of Moon bought you 1 turn.
Let's see. How exactly do I want to deal with this? Let's see. Okay. So I'm going to run out Exile Force, and with Prio, I'm going to sack it to hit this.
That will out the Raptinus.
Okay. Only downside is you can bring that back potentially. So I will have to be mindful of that. Let's see. How crazy do I want to get with this? Is the question. Okay. I think I'm going to activate Miracle Fusion. Any response to this?
What do you have in here? I'm gonna Dark Ride that.
Okay, so this gets negated, and I draw a card.
You get to draw a card, yes.
Damn it, okay.
That's not what that was for, but...
All
I
right.
know you can make Wild Wingman, so
I'm gonna
where
emergency call.
I think you're gonna make Wild Wingman one way or another.
That's honestly the hope. All right, so I'm gonna summon out Avion.
Yep. Yeah, I just wanted to make you do it this way. Because that's less board presence you have.
Fair.
The Wild Wingman won't be able to attack, at least.
Right. Because even if I declare the problem is the only way I would have to pass priority in order to let level limit activate in order to try to keep this in attack mode otherwise, which honestly is not worth it because that still gives you the chance to use something else here.
It still goes to defense anyway because this is a continuous effect.
True. Okay, so
See.
I'll pitch to pop that.
Sure, level limit's gone.
I will pitch, pop that.
I will chain limit reverse, targeting Disc Commander.
Ooh, okay. See.
So I get to draw 2 cards.
Right. And then I'm going to... The fact that I had to spend my normal summon for that too sucks. I'm going to switch Wildheart to attack mode. And hit for 15.
15 it.
Main phase 2, I will set another card, and I will pass.
Draw for turn. Stand by. Main. Now I gotta think again.
Alright. Painful choice, huh?
Yeah, I think all roads start with painful choice.
Yeah, that's good.
Alright,
God, that Dark Bribe really screwed me up, and it makes me... I'm honestly more annoyed at the fact that I don't have access to Dark Bribe for a while now.
Well, the first thing I'm doing is I'm dumping both Gigaplants.
Right.
Let's dump... What else do I want to dump here? I have one in my bin already, so I don't think that actually matters. You have a Wild Wingman up, so that doesn't actually matter. Cannon Soldier. Reflex Slime and Fusion Sage. So the pile is Gigaplant, Gigaplant, Cannon Soldier, Magical Reflex Slime, Fusion Sage.
Okay. I think... I don't like it, but I'm gonna have to give you a Gigaplant.
Okay, I'll take a Gigaplant.
I feel like that loop is coming no matter what happens.
Okay. I am going to activate Limit Reverse, targeting Magical Reflex Slime.
Okay.
I am going to activate Swing of Memories, targeting Alias.
Okay.
I'm going to contact out.
Okay.
Make another one.
And I've got another one.
Oh, you got another. Oh, right. Book of Moon's at 2.
Yep. Just freshly back to 2.
God damn it. That's no good. I have not normaled yet, so I think I'm going to go ahead and normal this exiled force, and with priority, I'm going to take out the Wild Wingman.
Okay.
Then I'm going to set 3 cards face down, and I will pass the turn.
Alright. Draw. Standby, main. Oh, this is turn 2. There is exactly... I see exactly 1 out, potentially, to this. Alright. I'm gonna sacrifice Clayman to summon out Ryza the Storm Monarch. And spin
you're gonna put
top.
this back to the extra, yep.
And Wildheart for 15.
Boy, this is not what I wanted to do. I'm gonna call the Haunted for my other Raptinus.
Okay. Thinking. Let's see. That came back to bite me in the ass so hard.
That's the reason why I saved the Call of the Haunted for so long.
So you have Gigaplant in hand.
Yeah, I do have a Gigaplant in hand.
And 2 cards I do not know of.
Yeah, I believe that is correct. I believe the hand is Gigaplant and 2 unknowns.
Unless... Wait a minute. No, Lonefire's in there. This Commander's in there. Alias is gone. L-Lab is gone. Limit Reverse was gone. Mass Driver is either in your hand or on the field.
Oh, right, you do know I have a Mass Driver.
You went through Swing, you went through the Slime, you went through the Crystal Seer, and the Cyber Jar. Okay. So I need to find a... Okay, so...
Okay, so first does the Call of the Haunted resolve?
Yeah, the Call of the Haunted resolves.
And I'm assuming you're not going to redeclare with Wildheart.
Let's see. Is there anything... No. Yeah, I'm not going to redeclare.
Okay.
You son of a... Alright. Ryza
well,
in.
This
I knew
not
that was...
go through either.
Yeah, I figured that was going to happen. Alright.
Yeah, that's not going to go through either.
Main 2, I'll set another card, and I will pass.
Draw for turn. Stand by. Main. I have Swing of Memories. I'm going to target Gigaplant.
Yeah, that's good.
Effective Gigaplant.
Yeah.
I'll special summon the other one from hand.
Yeah.
Activate Mass Driver.
Fuck off.
I can't believe I actually won with that. I thought this was going to be a pile.
twice. That's twice. I was one turn away from winning that game. But winning this game and game 1, and I got fucked.
Yeah, so I can't believe I actually managed to combo out both games. I thought that you had a bunch of like graveyard hate in your side deck still if you were playing hero. I was thinking you were going to run the Dark Worlds back again. So I tailored my main deck to try to beat that since I knew you wouldn't have macros. But you can very well play macros in this deck, and if you have a resolved macros, it's almost impossible for me to win the game.
Right.
So the reason why I built this deck, besides the Lone Fire, by the way, I pulled 3 Lone Fire. That's the primary reason why I played this deck.
I'm honestly not shocked. I only pulled 1 Lone Fire, unfortunately.
So that was like the 3 Lone Fire. I did only get 2 Gigaplant, which made me a little bit nervous because if any of the Gigaplants get banished, I have to win the game with Beatdown, which isn't too bad because I have 2400s. The other reason why I played this deck is back earlier in GX, I didn't bring them in because I didn't think that I thought there was too much backer removal in your deck for Wild Wingman and whatnot.
Right.
But I pulled not 1, not 2, but 3 card traders.
Really? Wow. That's actually surprising.
I had them in my... That's a super rare too, by the way.
Yeah, that's what makes it so shocking that you managed to pull that.
So I had... So I'm actually just going to go ahead and mill out... I'm going to go ahead and mill out the deck so you can see it. This was another limit reverse. So yeah, so I'll just go ahead and mill out the deck to show it to you.
Yeah, that's honestly... This is actually really neat. And honestly, it's really cool to see that it actually worked out.
Yeah, I was pretty amazed that this actually worked out. So the last card that I cut from this deck was the 3rd Swing, but in retrospect, this should probably be playing 3 Swing just because it's another extender. And I wanted to play it for this matchup specifically because the Contact Fusion rule makes Raptinus so much more consistent.
Oh, yeah.
Because if I had more than 1 King of the Swamp, I would consider playing this deck through 5Ds as well. And if I can pull some plant support out of the early 5D sets, this might come back, but this particular list is actually really tight. The Future Samurai is the only other warrior that I can search for with reinforcement of the army. The emergency call has exactly 1 target, which is Neos Alias. I was trying to keep the combo as dense as possible while being able to thin the deck out as much as possible. The Exiled Forces just strictly erode a target in case I need removal.
Right.
Unfortunately, one play that I thought of when I built this deck is discarding King of the Swamp to get polymerization, and then using Limit Reverse to bring it back to try to contact out for Raptinus, but
Right.
You can't contact fuse Raptinus with King of the Swamp because the fusion substitutes have to actually have monsters listed. The fusion requirements for King of the Swamp to work can't be generic.
Right. Oh, so you only had 1 polymerization in the whole deck.
Yeah, I only had 1 polymerization because...
Damn! So when you dump Fusion Sage out of Painful Choice, that was bait.
It was. I was just trying to get it out of my deck so I didn't draw it. And then the Cannon Soldier is in here.
Damn.
The Cannon Soldier is in here, and so you didn't get to see it, but the Cannon Soldier is in here as a last will target if I don't have Mass Driver.
Right.
The Infinity Dark is the largest Gemini that I can search for with Sangan and Witch of the Black Forest. Because the hardest part of this deck, honestly, is getting the 2 Geminis to make Raptinus in the first place. The rest of the combo, for the most part, is searchable.
Right.
Mass Driver is the only card that isn't searchable, but Cannon Soldier will function as well. You can summon that back off Call the Haunted. There's some really... So Magical Reflex Line is in here specifically because it's a Gemini that I can summon off of Limit Reverse. Limit Reverse is so good in this deck. I think Limit Reverse is low-key an amazing card.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing. I remember using Limit Reverse a fair amount when it came to synchro time, simply because it helped a lot in that regard. Because it helped get like the weaker tuners out, like in Playground. So it was actually a lot of fun there. And this actually worked out really nicely to get your little weenie Geminis out too.
It did. Just the hardest, like I said, the hardest part of the stack was just getting the material for Raptinus, and you had Book of Moon for it twice. I don't know how I managed to combo off both games.
So, fun note. You know how in mid-game, or in between, I mentioned I forgot to add a card? I forgot to add MST.
Oh no! Oh no, that would have made a huge difference.
That actually could have made a big difference, because if nothing else, I figured, okay, like I went to side and I was like, okay, I definitely know I can like do this, I could cut this, and if I see MST, I could clear out Mass Driver. And then as I'm looking at the list, I'm like, wait, I forgot to add that. Because my thing is, when I built the deck, I ended up using an old copy of the deck from, I want to say it was like, maybe like Power of the Duelist or something, and then I like tweaked it to add the more recent cards, as well as other stuff that I was, like, that I had more copies of. So I ended up completely forgetting about MST simply because it was a staple that wasn't in the old deck. So it didn't even cross my mind that, hey, you might need to re-add that.
I'm a little surprised that you left the Hero Signals and the Magic Cylinder in, because this deck didn't really do much attacking.
See, I didn't. The reason I left them in was simply because I figured if it got to a point where I could kind of lock you down a little more, I figured maybe if you weren't able to see Mass Driver or something like that, that you would have to try to start attacking. And honestly, I was considering whether or not I wanted to ram Wildheart into Raptinus to set off a hero signal. The problem was, I was like, do I even have anything that would help me in that regard? And unfortunately, I have nothing left in the deck that actually would have helped me by crashing Wildheart in there, so kind of didn't work out in that regard.
All right, then. Well, that is it for Duel Academy, but we have one little business trip to go on in between our trip from Duel Academy to New Domino City, and that is the Hall of Eternity.
Yep. So let's go ahead and get into that.
So with both of us having graduated from Duel Academy, we are on the way to New Domino City, but before we go there, we do need to make a trip over to the Hall of Eternity. Now, because of the 5-2 record in the second half of GX, I will only get one ban of this update, and then Demon will get 4. He will get 3, then I will get 1, and Demon will get his last one.
Oh, okay. The funny thing is I actually already have yours up, because I already know exactly what it is.
I mean, to be fair, that card is busted.
It is, and I'm honestly not surprised at all that you're gonna hit Graceful. Like,
yeah. So, well, you have a Dark World deck, first of all. But
yeah.
Let's go ahead and get down to business for the first of the 3 cards that you get to remove from the format. So, Demon Battler, before we head to New Domino City, may I ask for the first card that you would like to send to the stars, please?
Alright, so the first one we're sending off to the stars is actually one that, funny enough, we both have a copy of. However, I haven't been using it nearly as much, and you've actually been using this a lot more lately. So, I'm going to send to the stars Confiscation.
Not surprised.
Like, even though I have a copy of it, the fact of the matter is, I have a lot of times where I don't have the space in the deck to really run it. And honestly, it's good, but we definitely have other options for disruption as it is anyway.
I'm okay with Confi going. I figured it was a matter of time before the the hand removal started to come out, and I am going to let you in on a little secret. If I did get a second ban, it was going to be the Forceful Sentry.
Yeah, I kind of figured as much.
All right, so Confiscation is now removed from the format. All right, what's your second one? What do we get to send to the stars now?
Alright, so the second one is one that actually was seen in this duel, and we've seen it a few other times. And in fact, honestly, it makes me... I'm honestly surprised that I had never seen it in the... Well, actually, no, I guess I shouldn't be surprised that I didn't see it in the water deck, but I'm going to shut down Gravity Bind.
Okay, so we're starting to hit the attack floodgates now, too. I can see this. There are a number of attack floodgates that are in the format now, and Gravity Bind is probably the best one, just because it can be activated at spell speed 2. It's gonna get less good once we get to
Exceeds
other
format,
arcs,
yeah.
Exceeds specifically, because then we wind up having monsters that don't have levels, but there have been a lot of control decks that have been causing you trouble, so I can see this ban. I think it's a good ban.
And then, for the third ban... Yeah, I'm going to be entirely honest. This is definitely a bit of a rage ban, but the fact is, the fact that you were able to pull it off at all is already insane, and quite frankly, I want to make sure that this kind of this degeneracy doesn't happen more often. So I'm going to go into left field, and I'm going to go ahead and send to the stars Gigaplant.
Okay, yeah, that's fine, because you also don't want me playing Gigafies later.
Exactly. This thing got to show its heyday. This thing got to show off, and it actually got to work. So you know what? That's a good send-off for it.
That is. Admittedly, the deck gets less consistent without the Contact Fusion rule, which we will be saying goodbye to once we get to New Domino City. But I am okay with being able to play that deck once. I admittedly did the same thing with King Tiger Wangu back in DM, and I don't regret that ban at all.
Oh, no.
And for my one ban, this is not going to surprise anybody. I did not pull a Graceful Charity out of Dark Beginning 2. It does get a couple reprints later on, but I think you've had this card too long. Graceful Charity's gone.
Yeah, I'm honestly not surprised at all. Like, if anything, the fact that we... Honestly, I feel like Pot of Greed is a card that we're never going to ban simply because of the fact that we both have it, and the fact that, as crazy as it can be, it's not as busted as some of this other stuff. So, Graceful Charity going does kind of hurt, but at least with my Dark Worlds, I do have alternatives to work with. And on top of that, this card... Admittedly, this card has actually kind of hurt me a couple times as well, so I'm kind of okay seeing it gone.
I think Graceful Charity, the farther we get into progression, I think Graceful Charity is more powerful than Pot of Greed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, especially because of the fact that a lot of cards get effects going to the graveyard or while in the graveyard, so...
Alright.
So that leaves the final ban.
You get the last word. Demon, what is the final card that you would like to send to the stars on our trip to New Domino City?
Well... This is actually one that only saw the light of day once, but the fact is, it's something that, once again, can be readily abused, and I'd kind of like to avoid that being a situation in the future. So, you may have gotten him recently in the promos, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to say goodbye to Destiny Hero Disc Commander.
That's fine, that's fine. Disc Commander is absolutely broken. Especially with all the ways we have to revive.
Oh yeah, exactly.
We're gonna have multiples of Call of the Haunted in the near future, and given that we had a common Call of the Haunted reprint, and I think there's another common Call of the Haunted reprint coming as well, we're gonna have multiples of that. So I am perfectly okay with Destiny Hero Disc Commander leaving the format. I like all these bans. I think these bans are gonna lead to a very healthy format going into Synchro format. There are still a few problem cards that need to be addressed, but I think we're going to have a much more balanced format, and I'm super excited for 5Ds.
Right. So I guess there's one thing... Oh, I just noticed, too, I didn't even pull any Gigaplant either, so that actually works out for me.
It does.
So I guess there is one thing that I figure we should ask about now, is that I think, to be fair... Since you won the graduation duel, I think you should be the one to get to decide whether or not, like, which type we're going to start with for the next episode.
Yep. And we are going to have a pretty substantial change planned for 5Ds, but you'll have to find out what that is
Yep.
at the beginning of the next episode.
And
It's
it's
going
going
to
to
be
be
pretty
fun.
fire. It's going to be pretty fire, I'll put it that way. All right, I'm going to go crack my 2 mini boxes of Gold Series. Good luck on yours.
Thanks. Alright. So yeah, let's go into gold. Alright. So, unfortunately, we lost this duel, which means we're down to 5 losses in a row. Holy shit. But, here's the fun thing, though. Because we lost so many times, we lost 5 in a row, so we actually get 2 boxes of Gold Series. I thought we only got 1, but Rye let me know that we actually get 2. And he also pulls 2 as well, so this could be big. And the reason this is big is because Gold Series, this came out in April of 2008. This set, each mini box comes with 25 cards. There are 27 commons and there are 18 gold rares. So you get 22 commons and 3 gold rares out of it. And just, like, okay, let's look at the commons first, just to see some of the key stuff here. We have stuff like Needleworm. We have stuff like Fire Princess. We have stuff like Stealth Bird, which I think we've already got a few of. But, like, scrolling down, they have Silva. Well, we already have Silva, so that kind of defeats that point. Now, the other issue is the fact that there are a couple cards here that are banned. So, like, scrolling, like, looking real quick here, it looks like the only card that's banned that we have to worry about is Skill Drain. So, if we pull a copy of that, we're gonna have to turn around and, like, replace it with a random common. But now let's go up into the rares here, the gold rares. This is the crazy shit. Jinzo is banned, so that doesn't matter. But look at what we've got. We've got Don Zalug, we've got Breaker the Magical Warrior, DD Warrior Lady, D-Mok, Cyber Dragon, Gold, Grandmaster of the Six Samurai. Prometheus is kind of meh. Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon's kind of meh. But honestly, if we could find a way to cheat this out, that'd be cool. Chimera Tech, we've already got that. Swords, we already have that. We've got Heavy Storm. But Rhoda, Brain Control, Crush Card Virus, Mirror Force, Torrential Tribute, these 5 alone would be huge for us. If we could pull any of these, that's going to be big. And honestly, most of the gold rares we've either already got or we don't really care about. But, like, these 5 for sure will be big. And if we hit Grandmaster of the Six Samurai, that'll actually help out a lot as well. So let's go ahead. We're going to pull 2 boxes of this. So we get 25 commons, or 25 cards. So 22 commons and 3 gold rares. Let's flip the first pack. And oh my god, right off the bat, we have Rhoda and Brain Control. That is huge. Prometheus is kind of neat too, but it's not the biggest thing. But hands down, Brain Control and Rhoda are huge. Let's look through the rest of the comments here. Okay, so we did hit a skill drain, so unfortunately we're going to have to... That means what we're going to do is we're going to pull another box and flip, and whatever the top right card will be, as long as it's not skill drain, we're going to have that card. The rest of the cards will be unimportant. But looking at the rest of this, we have a Newdoria, which is kind of nice. We have Summoner of Illusions, that's actually kind of nice. We have Needleworm, that's actually really good for us. That could be really good later. Doomdozer, okay, there's a card I forgot about, and Rye only... I think Rye doesn't have any of these, and this is actually going to be big for him. Fire Princess is good, Old Vindictive is really good. All in all, very good pack here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip the unimportant pack for the replacement skill drain, and then we're gonna go into the second one. Okay, so here's the second pack, the replacement pack. So it's gonna be this card. And we get a third Needleworm. Perfect. Perfect. That's actually really good for us because that makes a full playset. And honestly, this makes Empty Jar a very good possibility. Now, out of curiosity, let's flip the rest of these and see. Oh, that could have been a Mirror Force. That would have been so good for us. But you know what? That's fine. That's fine. So now we have our second pack. And let's flip. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. You know what? I'm not too upset about that. Another skill drain. Okay, so we have to deal with that. But let's see. Scrolling through the rest of these. Yeah, the rest of these are actually kind of meh. But a second Swords and we hit Grandmaster. That's actually huge for us. So, okay, so these actually worked out pretty well for us. The fact that we got Rhoda is really good already, so... Alright, so this is going to be the end of our episode and the end of the GX era. So, see you guys next time. We're going to go into 5Ds and you're going to see an exciting new format. So, have a good night, everybody, and for the last time, it was fun to get your game on.